What is it that really draws you to someone? Is it their smile, their eyes, the sound of their voice? Or is it something much deeper, something hidden that moves inside you without asking for permission? Maybe you felt that strange magnetism pulling you towards someone for reasons you can't explain. A silent fire, seductive yet unsettling. And in that moment, you wonder, are you really choosing, or are you being chosen by a hidden force that's been inside you all along? You like to believe your desire comes from your will, that attraction is born out of freedom, that you consciously decide who you want and who you reject. But what if you discovered that most of what you feel doesn't come from your reason or even your heart, but from a much darker, more ancient place? Jung warned that sexual attraction isn't some shallow game of bodies seeking one another. It's an unconscious ritual where invisible forces cast their power over you. And those forces aren't always clear, kind, or safe. Imagine for a second that what pulls you in isn't the person themselves, but the projection of your most hidden side. Jung said that a man often sees in a woman the reflection of his anima, the inner feminine buried deep within him, while a woman projects her animus onto a man, that inner masculine figure that guides and dominates from the unconscious. The disturbing part is this: you don't love the real person, you love the image your own archetypes impose on them. You fall for a mirror dressed in someone else's skin. And once you see it, that fascination can turn into disappointment, because the other was never what you thought, just a vessel carrying your unconscious self. But there's something even more unsettling: the shadow. That psychic territory where everything you deny lives, what you repress, what you hide out of fear, shame, or guilt. Jung pointed out that erotic desire often rises from there. You're drawn to what feels forbidden, to what awakens in you the parts you don't dare to admit. That's why you can feel captivated by people who, on the surface, seem completely wrong for you, but deep down, they touch chords you never allowed yourself to feel. Desire becomes a bridge to what you fear the most, and at the same time, to what you most need in order to become whole. What if what you're searching for in the other person is really the missing piece of yourself? Attraction stops being an innocent act and turns into a stage where the unconscious disguises itself as passion. What's dark here isn't the desire itself, but the realization that it doesn't always come from love. It's a psychic dance exposing you to what you can't control. The unconscious chooses, and without even noticing, you obey. For Jung, sexual energy was far more than just a biological instinct. It's an archetypal force rooted in the collective, in the ancestral, in what belongs to no one. It's not just your personal history, but the history of humanity repeating itself in you. Desire is an echo of countless generations, a symbolic language connecting you to the oldest pulse of life itself. And the disturbing truth is, you can't escape it. No matter how hard you try to rationalize or tame it, there are moments when both body and soul surrender to that primal force that doesn't care for explanations. Eros, Jung said, isn't just union, it's danger. It can lead you to the most profound spiritual connection, or drag you into obsession, dependency, and the destruction of the self. Because the fire that lights desire also carries the spark of self-destruction. Passion can be a bridge to transformation, or a fall into the abyss. And in every intimate encounter, conscious or not, you're exposed to that paradox. So the question echoes back: what is it that really attracts you to someone? Is it their essence, or is it your own shadow wearing their shape? Is it love you feel, or the call of an archetype trying to complete itself through you? The answer is uncomfortable, but impossible to ignore. Every time you feel desire, you're not just standing before another person, you're standing before yourself, before everything you deny, everything you long for, and everything you fear. And maybe that's the darkest truth Jung tried to reveal: sexual attraction doesn't fully belong to you. It's not only yours, it comes from your unconscious, your shadow, the myths in your bones, the archetypes that live within you without your knowing. Realizing this may be unsettling, but it can also be liberating, because it shows you that love and desire are more than just a play of bodies. They are a deep dialogue with your own soul. When you stop to really think about what you feel towards someone who sparks your attraction, you realize the experience isn't as simple as it looks. It's not just the brush of skin that stirs instinct, or the rational weighing of similarities and conveniences. What moves inside you carries mystery, chaos, and revelation. There's a force pulling you toward the other person with an intensity that defies reason, as if desire itself mocks your will and drags you along without asking permission. That sensation, far from being a fleeting whim, is proof that you're standing before a power born in the deepest layers of your psyche. Jung pointed out that desire isn't merely a biological drive, because if it were, it would be enough to satisfy it and make it disappear. But the truth is, even when the body is satisfied, the magnetism lingers, the attraction doesn't fade, and the fascination keeps burning like a riddle that refuses to be solved. What binds you isn't just the physical, but the symbolic. The person who attracts you stirs echoes that don't actually belong to them, but to your own inner images, your archetypes, your unconscious story. What you see on the outside is, to a large extent, a reflection of what's inside of you. That's why Jung insisted that the most powerful bonds are born out of projections. When you think you love someone, what you really love is a piece of yourself embodied in that external figure. A man, looking at the woman who seduces him, is actually gazing at his anima, his inner feminine side, sensitive, intuitive, creative, hidden away until suddenly it appears dressed in flesh. A woman, drawn to a man who ignites an unexplainable fire in her, is actually connecting with her animus, that inner masculine force that pushes, guides, and challenges her. The intensity of the encounter doesn't come only from who the other person is, but from what they awaken within you. The problem starts when you confuse that projection with reality. You think you know the other person, when in truth you only know the image your unconscious has laid over them. And sooner or later, the illusion collapses. What seemed perfect at first begins to reveal cracks, contradictions, and human imperfections that don't fit the idealized figure. That's when attraction can shift into disappointment, because what you adored was never fully real. It was an echo of your own psyche. Yet this revelation, rather than being a mistake, is actually an opportunity. Through that disillusionment you discover who you are, what parts of yourself you've been projecting, and how badly you need to reconcile with them so you'll stop chasing them desperately outside yourself. But attraction isn't limited to the game of projections. There's a darker dimension Jung called the shadow. Everything you reject about yourself, everything you don't dare show, hides there, unspoken desires, repressed impulses, emotions you chose to bury. And yet, the shadow never dissolves. It waits for its chance to surface. Sometimes, it does so through attraction. You find yourself desiring someone who's the complete opposite of what you thought you wanted. Someone who embodies the forbidden, the transgressive, the incompatible with your self-image. And still, you can't resist it. There's something in that person that calls you, hits invisible nerves, and stirs your inner fire. What's unsettling is that, in those moments, you're not just desiring the other person, you're desiring the parts of your own shadow they awaken. The encounter turns into a dark mirror reflecting what you've refused to see. That confrontation can either be liberating or destructive. Liberating, if you recognize that desire is showing you the parts of yourself that need integration. Destructive, if you let yourself get swept away blindly, confusing attraction with destiny. Passion can lift you toward transformation or drown you in obsession, and the line between the two is as thin as it is invisible. There's also something even deeper that makes attraction more than a personal matter, its archetypal root. Jung saw sexual energy as a force that doesn't just belong to the individual, but to the collective unconscious. Your desires aren't only yours, they're echoes of ancient symbols that have lived in humanity for millennia. In every glance that ignites you, in every surge of desire, the voice of myths echoes from the dawn of history. You desire because life itself desires through you. And that realization can be unsettling, because it means you never fully control what you feel. Something ancient is moving inside you, something that doesn't obey your logic or your will. This force, which Jung called Eros, is far from innocent. It can open you to the deepest union with another human being, a union that touches the spiritual and transcends the purely physical. But it can also drag you into obsession, the sacrifice of your individuality, the loss of your center. The same fire that illuminates can consume. And every time you give yourself over to desire, You're walking that tightrope where the sublime and the destructive brush against each other. There are no guarantees, only the risk of entering a territory where your conscious self is no longer in control. That's why, when you feel the intensity of attraction, what's really happening is far bigger than you imagine. It's not just about you and the other person, but a dance between your projections, your shadow, and the collective archetypes. Desire isn't a whim you can control at will. It's a language of the unconscious that invites you or forces you to know yourself through the other. And while uncovering this may seem unsettling, it also opens the door to a deeper truth. Every person who attracts you is a mirror of your own soul. What you search for outside isn't anything more than what you already carry inside, waiting to be recognized, integrated, and loved. In that sense, attraction stops being an external mystery and becomes an inner opportunity. An opportunity to find yourself in the eyes of the one who seduces you, in the skin that calls to you, in the shadow that haunts you. Now you understand that attraction was never just a whim of the flesh or a random accident. There has always been a deeper calling in it, an echo rising from the core of your being that, at the same time, connects you to something far greater than yourself. That magnetic pull you feel when someone crosses your path is the language of the unconscious, an invitation to face what you've hidden, what you've denied, what you still don't know how to integrate. And when you dare to look at it head-on, you realize that every desire, no matter how dark or confusing it may seem, carries a truth about who you are. It's easy to get lost in the illusion that you're choosing freely. It's tempting to believe your attraction is a conscious act, that your will alone points the compass of your desire. But when you look closer, you notice most of what you feel arises without your permission, as if a silent force were choosing for you. That force can feel unsettling, because it shows you that you're not the absolute master of your inner world. Yet it also reveals something essential, that you're part of a much larger web, a fabric of symbols, archetypes, and myths that express themselves through you, even if you don't fully understand them. Desire, in that sense, is an uncomfortable teacher. It confronts you with your shadow, pushes you to see what you don't want to face, shatters the comfort of your certainties. It shows you that what you reject in yourself often becomes what you most desperately seek outside. And even though that confrontation can hurt, it also opens the door to reconciliation. Because when you realize attraction isn't a mistake but a reflection of what's hidden within, you stop fearing it and begin to use it as a path to self-knowledge. Every person who ignites your fire becomes a mirror, a doorway to a part of you that's been waiting to be seen. But attraction doesn't just expose what you lack, it also reveals your vulnerability. To desire is, deep down, to admit you're not complete, that there's something in the other that feels essential, that moves you, that transforms you. That emptiness you feel isn't weakness, it's a sign of being human. We all carry fragments of ourselves scattered across the people we meet along the way. And every time someone stirs in you a desire you can't contain, what's really happening is that your soul